It's such a big pleasure and honor to have you here today, Becca. It was really such an incredible journey that you guides were taking me on. I need to tell you, this reading was done actually in two parts. First, there was one part, and this part was very specific related to this lifetime that you are here right now in this body of Becca. And then the second part was actually related to the history more in general, right? And so I was first start with the first part, so as it was evolving for me.
Goosebumps everywhere already.
Okay, great. So when I started to tune into your higher self, there came in a really slowly approaching, very undefined, almost colorless cloud energy, a really strong essence. And it was very foreign in quality, in the sense that I couldn't relate so much to this energy because I knew immediately it's not from this galaxy, it's from somewhere else. And it was really on the 11th, 12th dimensional level. And it felt very masculine, although if I feel now again into it, it feels that foreign that I cannot assign the masculinity to it. It was really more about an incredible sovereign being, right? And it said to me that this is your higher self from the other aspect in another galaxy. And you are holding their absolute truth, sovereignty, and integrity. It told me also that you are upholder of divine order and truth. And it was really such a massive, powerful energy, you know. And immediately there was a very strong heart-to-heart connection being built between the two of us. And one thing that he told to me was, forget about the protocol, just listen to me. So I didn't douse, I was just listening to it. I was really just channeling what it had to say. So I was just writing down on the computer and it was just telling me the story. So you are all about divine truth, integrity, and sovereignty. This is really your signature. You came with into this galaxy, that your origin is another galaxy, but you came with this, you know, these energies into this galaxy, and you're having a much more galactic connection to yourself than earthbound. But you're so skilled in navigating 3D realities all over this galaxy. And what was very interesting was also that you are not upholding these qualities only for one or two or three collectives of the beings in this galaxy. It's actually for the whole galaxy, you know, like being part of this integrity web on a collective consciousness level, right? For the whole galaxy, you know. So first of all, they wanted to say that you're doing an excellent job and they love you. Really. So and that you are now in this life bringing peace and enlightenment, especially to guide people and help them to uncover their personal truth behind their soul motivations and their, you know, experiences here on Earth. So it really is to have a bigger picture, to a higher level picture, so that they can embrace every experience that they have in this galaxy or here on Earth right now. Yeah. What it also told me and showed me, I could feel it all over my body, was that you still carry a strong signature of the Lyra and Orion tragedies, you know, which is also shown in your south node, north node axis. because you felt the most expressed in this system while you were in this galaxy. So it is a very dear place to you, and that you came actually before the infusion of Lyra. You are part of the originators who are actually upholding the consciousness. And sorry, I'm trying to, because it's such a beautiful story that flowed through me. So I'm trying really to grasp what it had to tell me, so that I'm not getting anything out, So I'm trying to read and explain.
Oh, I've heard I have goosebumps on my arms.
Okay, so yeah, me too. Honestly, I feel it all over my body. So, um, and it was really so dear to your heart because you felt like this is the paradise that you could create with the other originators. It was like the manifestation of your collaborative work on a highest, level of integrity, truth, co-creation, divine love. All of these beautiful qualities were expressed in this life, not in this life, in this system. And yeah, it was really about harmonious co-creation and coexistence as well. But then he actually, he also told me, and I could feel it very strongly, that through this connection, through Lyra, you were experiencing a very strong energy of guilt and shame. And it told me very precisely that he wants you to remember the time before this verse, that you need to remember the origin, and the origin of your soul is the rainbow color of the higher consciousness that is residing in the other galaxy. And this rainbow, yes, it is a beautiful color. I mean, it's such a beautiful energy, and it's upholding pure joy and creativity. And he really wants you to remember that and actually try to pierce even higher. I mean, you are already incredibly connected with the consciousness all over. But somehow there was this invitation that probably there's something else to remember for you. And also that you, at this moment in time in Lyra, that you forgot about this origin a little bit more, and that you also forgot about the game and the ultimate goal of the game that is playing out here in this galaxy, and that you are now invited to rise above the level of this game here and see the whole spectrum, what is going on, and really be able, although it's really hard, to have the polarities being balanced, but you can do that. You can hold the whole spectrum of polarity and really be centered in the neutrality of your being. And this is actually something that you can hold through this connection to these other beings on the other side, which is actually your higher self, It's just a parallel expression, yeah. Does this resonate?
It resonates so much because I do, that like I still feel the feeling in my chest and my heart many times, even when I go to the memories of Lyra, it doesn't always go back super far because it keeps getting hinged on when kind of the tragedies started to happen, and that level of guilt, you nailed it, was like a huge thing that I felt, as far as that focus on always like what do we need to help to balance. But I love the reminder to go beyond that and to go back to remembering when it was in balance, when there was harmony, what that joy and that beauty is like, so that I can actually feel that more.
Yes, exactly, because it was really an invitation for you to see the picture about this game. Because, there was a very specific intention to create this game. And you were one of the beings who really wanted to experience it to the fullest, I know it's hard to listen to that, and it's hard to believe that you were specifically, when we go to the point where you were asking yourself very deeply after you experience this, tragedy. You're asking yourself, how could they deceive me? I don't know what truth feels like. You know, I don't know why this needed to happen, why such enormous, massive amount of suffering is needed to learn anything, right? So these are your questions, but they are inviting you to actually shift the question toward what is the higher truth behind all of this. So really adopt another level. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel even the emotion when you say that, it's like, why does it have to be so deceiving or so hard? Or, yeah.
But it was honestly, they said you wanted to know how it feels if you don't know the truth any longer, if you don't feel totally sovereign, if you lose integrity, and how to, first of all, this was all of your design in the sense that you really wanted to deeply understand the logics of sovereignty, integrity, and truth, and how it's going to be lost and how to reclaim it, because you knew the whole game. You knew that from the inception of Lyra, because you were here actually 20% earlier than the inception of Lyra. So you were actually helping to co-create the whole system and the whole game. And you were co-creating the consciousness part of the game, not just the collective consciousness, but specifically the individual consciousnesses inside of different, let's say, collectives of beings. And your main goal was to find the blueprint of losing yourself, in the sense of losing the connection to the essence of source, and how to find the way back. And your focus is really truth, sovereignty, and integrity. And what I found very powerful here is that they wanted to remind you that you have the hologram of truth in great attractor, and you have the great attractor conjunct to Neptune in Sagittarius, first house. So it really is this massive pull, that is pulling your soul towards the hologram of the truth, which is actually the source of truth in general, right? Divine truth. And they want you to actually maybe connect a little bit more with this great attractor and try to find more inspiration and energy flowing to you through that. So do you work with the great attractor?
You know what? I last night I was actually doing breath work through the heart center. And just as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I need to expand that breath work out so that I'm feeling that kind of move through. But no, honestly, I haven't. I spend so much time, a lot of times, doing for others.
Yeah.
But, a lot of times I don't have as much time as I know I need to create to sit and do. And that's kind of a message that's been coming through a lot, is that I need to sit and actually be with these very simple yet very powerful movements through my energy system, because I'm letting myself be too distracted with this constant mission of I need to be here, I need to help others, right?
I know that.
Because there's something, I just feel it coming. It's just a click into really even a larger understanding. You know how like you go through these clicks and all of a sudden now it's like, oh, wow, I was really looking at that from such a limited perspective. It's like, really feeling those moments where it's like, oh, I kind of need to look at everything all over again from this new lens. And so I feel like that's going to be a huge key for me. So thank you.
Okay, cool. Very, very cool. So there's another key for you, and they say that your vertex is opposite Lyra, right? Your vertex, which is actually your meeting with your destiny. So destiny, Lyra was actually the system of destiny for you, let's say, and it's in Cancer. Let me have a look. Let me have a quick look. So vertex, yes, in Cancer, in the spiritual decan in the 8th house. So it really is inviting you to feel your way through all of the events all of the repercussions fully, everything related to Lyra for you, really deeply feeling through it, just letting it flow, just letting it out, just, just letting the energy flow, flow, flow. And this great attractor is going to give you a lens through which you will be able to see the higher truth of everything related to that. And also, on the other hand, it will give you the possibility to form a blueprint, for other beings and consciousnesses that are living through the same trauma, that they have a blueprint of coming back, going through trauma and finding their way back to divinity, to source. And this is all going to be led through this, really deep 8th house, death, rebirth, transformation in Cancer. So there's really like heavy emotional involvement.
I feel like that's kind of been my path in a lot of ways. I feel like it's like I've let myself experience really intense things, I'm sure multiple cycles, but especially in this lifetime. And every time it's like, now I'm at a place where I see all of them, and I'm like, oh, that I'm so grateful that I know what that feels like to go through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know, and it's odd because in the deepest part, there's a part of me that almost feels as though, because I've let myself go through so many experiences to help others know how to go through them too, I feel this little residue of almost guilt sometimes, of like, oh, am I a bad person? Did I do something bad? It's like, when you get barraged by all of this attack,
Yeah.
especially dealing with narcissistic people and things like that, you start to feel it like, oh, am I what they're telling me that I am?
No, actually, yeah, that's your superpower, I would say, because I think that not everybody is able to help, because this was also one of the messages of your higher self from the other galaxy. Not everybody is able to give, let's say, service to self energies the opportunity to have a different lens. And I think that you are one of these people who can do that, right? It's just by being yourself. It's not about trying to help them or drag them out of any energies. It's just about being yourself. And yes, very often it's not easy to get into contact with these energies, I know. But that's just, because you're such a sovereign being, in your core, you're such a sovereign being, and you're so incredibly powerful in holding integrity. You can hold integrity even within this service to self, let's say, hub or mesh of, all of these energies. So it is a hard mission to do, but I would say that you need a lot of experience like you had, because you're really an ancient soul. You did a lot of missions in this galaxy. It wasn't related only to Lyra, because after Lyra, you were actually helping other consciousnesses and other collectives that were in the same situation, like in Orion. You helped the Nor and Tal people, and also Mintakas, to move out of these regions and to move to safer places. This was one of your missions after you experienced this huge, massive exodus in Lyra. So this is somehow one of your other main life purposes as this soul in this whole galaxy, Yeah. And yeah, yeah, as I said, when I was just, it was like, oh my gosh, what? That's so strong, this energy was so strong and so, how to say, such a warrior energy, you're not giving up. You're really staying true to yourself and really to the divine essence and spark that you are. So yeah.
I love that.
So then let me see, where am I now? Neptune. Yes, I told you already about Neptune and the Great Attractor, that actually a lot of the resources and solutions you will find there. So really connect as much as possible to it. Then your part of fortune is in the 9th house of higher education, and it's connected to your Virgo talents, and it's opposing the energies of Fomalhaut. And I could feel here a really strong connection to the Christus energies, you know. There's really Christus energies, and also souls that are connecting very strongly to Fomalhaut for going on their individual path through being victimized, but then finding the way out of victimization and actually fully empowering themselves in sovereignty and integrity and helping others to do the same. Really like a way showers, you know, and being like these blueprints through which others can connect to their own healings. Yeah. And also this is also related, you will see in the other part of my, how to say, word with this other higher aspect of yourself. Fomalhaut was very important also, what she had to say. So then,
yeah, because I've been really drawn to Fomalhaut, and it's one of those that I feel the energy building to really kind of go into more remote viewing and pulling more connections. So I'm so excited.
Yes, I mean there is a very strong connection that I could feel. It is also related to the Christ energy that is here on earth, also through the Jesus incarnation. And you will see later on how this is, I think, tied to your personal self, and one of the past lives here on earth, I would say, or how I could perceive that. Yeah. So then in your Chiron is in Aries, in 3rd decan of Aries aspect. So the spiritual one, and it's in the 5th house. So what I've heard him or this essence saying was, I create change and healing in a creative, playful way, bringing in the signature of Arcturus, which is opposite in this in your Chiron. Then first working through my own difficulties in karma and programming. There was also a very large emphasis on mind programming. And you have here huge support by the Galactic Center, which is actually this part of Chiron is helping you to establish the whole blueprint of healing that is going to be uploaded into this collective consciousness of the whole galaxy, you know, not just collectives, different collectives, but through working through Arcturus, you know, because the Arcturians are the upholders of the whole healing, let's say, energies of the whole galaxy. You're actually helping through going through your own personal process, co-creating that and uploading it into the blueprint of the whole galaxy. It's really the point here that it's not an emphasis on specific, you know, collectives. It really is the emphasis on the whole galactic game here throughout your whole chart.
It's so funny because all my meditations kind of go like that, or when I do the work, or even guided ones that I will take others on. It's like we'll start personal, but then it's always like, how do we now share it? You know, and I love that. Yeah. There's
it's really strong.
Seeing that pattern in everything.
Yeah, because you're working through these other beings and really co-creating the consciousness, not just individualized, so collective, but then from the collective to the individual, and then back from the individual back to the collective, you know. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. Then in your Lilith is in Aries. Sorry if I don't pronounce these things very well, so I'm in 4th house, and it's trining Antares and sextiling Aldebaran. Here you have a very strong connection to the Antarian beings, so the mantis beings, and they say also that because you have this very fierce warrior energy that you actually develop throughout the Lyran wars, they are actually inviting you to connect it and integrate it a little bit more with the Syrian A technology, you know, in the sense a little bit more of the feminine aspect and ethereal aspect.
I get that message a lot. They're like, okay, now let's be soft. Let's be more gentle. See the power in the heart and being gentle.
Yeah, exactly. You had this. You had this today. You said, right? There's one aspect of Sirius A that you were a little bit not so keen about. That was this non-intervention policy, you know, because you had such an intense experience with the Lyra and verse that non-intervention wasn't really a huge concept in your, life afterwards. You really wanted to, let's say, yeah, we need to move these energies. We need to fight the draconians, and yes, definitely. But you also realize that the draconians are not going to be fought with their own weapons or on the same level. You need to adopt a higher level of war, let's say, war in a good sense of war, right?
Yeah. I do look for loopholes in the free will clause all the time. Like even when we're doing clearing work, it'll be like, oh, well, if they've chosen to like tether into us and emotionally like try to pull our energy, then they're consenting to bind themselves with our energy. Then doesn't that give us the consent to start to clear their energy?
Oh
I
yeah,
always
yeah,
find myself finding loopholes to that non-intervention, if you will.
yeah. But that was also one of the messages that I received. It was like maybe it's not just you. I mean, it was related to the session that we had last time. That we are forgetting about, we are mixing up free will and divine will. And that our free will, sometimes we think it is equal to divine will, but it's really not. So yeah, and this was really, it also resonated so much with me, especially after our last session that we had together related to that. It was such a massive shift for myself as well. Yes.
Goosebumps
Yes.
again everywhere.
It was really massive for me as well. Yes.
Wow, I might have to
Huh?
write that on a sticky note so I can even.
You will
Powerful.
receive a PDF, because I really want you to have the complete story, because it really, when I was channeling, it flowed so nicely. Maybe it's not a beautiful, romantic science fiction book, but you will have all the important information in there. So with the form, how to say, with the words as they wanted to come through, to really conveying the message. So probably I'm not completely on spot right now, but I try to be as close as possible.
Oh, I feel the energy, hun.
Okay, then it's perfect. Okay, we had that. Now we come to the block, I would say, to the block of experiences that I couldn't actually form into a linear, not form, they also didn't give me a linear perspective on this. It was the block of Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars, In this block of experiences, this was after the Lyran Wars, and also after you saw what was going on with the draconian energies and how they are treating other collectives inside of this galaxy, right? You just decided that you need to do something about it, right? So you were really diving into some very heavy energies. One of them was in Uranus, Draco and Sirius B. So in Draco, you actually stayed outside of the incarnation cycles, and you were observing from above. You were actually observing with the dragons. The dragons were somehow helping you to see a bigger picture, because they were upholding the space for the draconians, right? But not enough. The point is that we think that they're helping them. They are not helping them. They are just upholding the structure of the bigger game to be played out, right? Yeah. So you were observing what was going on the lower levels, like 3D and 4D, 5D maybe. And then you, at one point, you saw that this is not enough to understand the whole thing. So you started to incarnate, right? And this incarnation cycles, I will explain a little bit more in detail when I come to the other part of your reading. Let me see. Yes. So, and then once you gained enough of experience that you saw that it's not about fighting them, but it's to find a solution that is above the war, you came across the Procyon collective. And this Procyon collective was also enslaved, but they found a way to raise their consciousness to the level so that they were shifting out, collectively shifting out of 3D to a higher level of, I think it was 5D, but I'm not sure about this one. And you had one lifetime on Procyon exactly when the shift was happening, so that you could feel the ascension process, so that you could have the model inside of your soul memories, right? So that it was really close to you, that you could grab it whenever you need it. Okay. Now, I see that in Jupiter, right? There was something that wasn't very clear, or was with mixed energies conveyed related to Jupiter, right? One thing was that there seemed to be, I don't know, I'm not sure about this one, but there seemed to be a little bit of a conflict about hybridization programs for you. Yeah, is that true? Would you say that, right?
Yeah, because it's like even now I feel kind of such a mix about it. I'm sitting there going like, well, we're all kind of hybridized because of all the genetics and the constant, even from the creator realm of us working through genetics to create even these bodies. So there's even kind of a blend I even feel where, some of the hybridization that we're seeing take place currently, there's a lot of positive I see in it, and there's a lot of where I see manipulation in it. So it's a real kind of, I don't know where. I'm always kind of really kind of trying to see deeper, and I'm feeling you said something so amazing where it's not about our free will but divine will, how powerful that is, and so that's where I've been trying to take the energy to understand it better, is by stepping into divine will, because there's something about that's kind of the basis of all creation within the universe has been hybridization.
Yeah, because I could feel it that you have these mixed energies about it, but also I could hear from your higher self. It said that you feel like this physical tinkering with genetics is not the solution to a higher expressed race in divinity. That you feel very strongly about bringing in the sacred codes of, geometrics, DNA geometrics, and this is the path that you prefer, in the sense that changing genetics, yes, but through the ethereal forms, through upgrading DNA from the Sirius A perspective, right? Yeah.
Wow, that is so many. I'm just so lit up because that really just does answer so much. I mean, it's like, just for confirmation, last night in the meditation that I was doing, I felt myself just breathing in the sacred numbers and the sacred geometries, and I was just asking the divine to breathe through me the patterns of divine creation, like the sacred mathematics of nature, of the universe, of the cosmos. And I was just sitting there going like, if I just breathe that in, I can ask it, I can intend it to just through the ethereal change the DNA patterning. So in essence, it is changing the genetics, but not through physically, cloning or doing some. I don't know. I don't know how to word it. It matches.
This was the answer you gave me, actually. Your higher self from the other galaxy, but still you. So there was also another thing that was related to Nihal. that is also somehow maybe not completely clear for you, because as I know it, I don't know, I probably don't have enough depth of knowing how Nihal is being set up, but it is these beautiful souls, but they're put into hybrid bodies that probably are not serving them the best. I don't know. This is something that is coming through now, and that there must be a better way. There must be a better way to lead humanity to new Earth, not through hybridization programs, although we don't want to now, build up any energies against any hybridization, programs that are seemingly successful, right? But it's still there for you. There is a better way. You know that there is a better way how to lead humanity to this new Earth expression, and it's not through. There is, as I said, a little bit of conflicting energy with Nihal project. I would say that how I how I perceived that, right? And it really is for you. The connection is to use more of the Sirius A technology, like really this spiritual, sacred geometry, sound vibration, light technology. Yeah.
That's so amazing because, like, when I tap into Nihal, I usually go to the very high etheric, but I do know that in order to incarnate, I've never really I want to explore more and tap into that kind of level of essence, choosing to incarnate into form, because then that's where the challenge really takes place, is taking the high consciousness, and then how do we get it to merge with different bodies, different vehicles. And that's really what the genetics program has been all about, is getting bodies that the soul will stay in.
Exactly. Yeah.
That won't expire quickly or burn out.
Yeah. Probably that's the message they are giving you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so powerful. I was just like mind blown. But now when we go to the Venus connections, right? In Venus, you have conjunct Vega, you have opposite Sirius A. And what I've found out, or what this higher aspect of yourself was telling me, that in this aspect of your energy, you have been reconnecting to the vegan legacy that you had, and also integrating the Sirius A energies into that. And they were also somehow inviting you to focus more on the ethereal legacy of Venus, not Venus, of Vega. So not that much on the material, so the paradise aspect of Lyra in the material form, but much more on the ethereal legacy that was built through all of these experiences, because there was massive experiences going on, and it's all held in a beautiful space to be integrated for all the souls that were related to this, wars. And it's in every single soul that was going or incarnating in these planets. They just need to reintegrate so that they can see the higher truth.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in order to return back to source, and it really is on the galactic level again. Because the whole thing is really finding the way out of source into the densest possible, and then finding the way back home. Yeah.
That's the tricky part, right?
Excuse me?
I said that is the tricky part, right?
Oh, yeah.
Back.
Yes. That's always the trick. There's so much information. I hope I don't leave anything out. Your ascendant is in Sagittarius and is opposing Hyadam. So it was really for you. First of all, you were helping a lot of Lyran refugees to come to Hyadam. This was one part of your story. But the other part of your story is you came here to embody the beautiful paradise that was left, that was left untouched for them. so that you, even though you're living now on Earth that has a very chaotic range of different setups of different consciousnesses playing out their games, that you can have your paradise here. And through doing that, you will be inviting other souls to do the same, so that they find their own paradise inside of themselves and know that no matter where they are, they have this possibility to reclaim sovereignty, freedom, safety, and a right to live, to exist.
That. And that was in opposition to what?
It was ascendant. Yes, in Sagittarius.
Yes, perfect.
These really strong, innovative, beautiful energies. And it's about embodiment, because it's in the first decan, so really embody this signature of them. Now, your moon is in Taurus, in the 6th house, in the 2nd decan of the mind. And your moon is really somehow crying out to the lives where you felt very comfortable and secure before the Lyra war, right? And it's conjunct Lyra, right? So and it's again, remember the paradise that was before the wars, because there is the solution, to higher consciousness, right? And now they told me, your mission, so midheaven is in Virgo in 10th house. And what I've got here is that it really is about transcending the Lyran story from the lower octave to the higher octave. So really from the planets into Ring Nebula, because the Ring Nebula is actually a white dwarf. It has lived his life, or its life. It has transcended, and it's now holding the space for the memories to be, tapped into for other souls who want to know the legacy that was left behind. Yeah, in this sense.
I love how you just shared that. That's so beautiful. I definitely want to meditate into that.
Yeah. This is so much, but they were actually telling me that they love to work with you because you're so open, so heart-centered, and really this channel of truth, integrity, and sovereignty. So they know that the information will be held in divine order, right? So it will come through as it's supposed to come through. So tell me how much time you have, because I have another hour. You're not limited with time, right?
No.
Okay, great. That's really good to know. So this was the first energy or higher aspect of yourself that was sharing the story related to this lifetime. I just need a sip of water.
Yes.
Okay, so now we go to the second part. And the second part was actually done a few days later, when I again first connected to your wise teacher energy. So this first energy that came through this, really strong integrity and sovereignty. And it really literally opened up, it opened up. And let's say a step lower on density, there appeared a beautiful iridescent rainbow crystalline feminine essence. It was really such pure feminine essence, very loving, very nurturing, and she was holding absolute enlightenment. And she said that she's your higher self aspect, again, in another galaxy, in the Rainbow Oversoul Collective. And she's embodying pure peace, calm, and joy, and creativity. And when I looked at her, she really looked very Arcturian to me. But she said, no, I'm not Arcturian. I'm this, rainbow, she didn't give me a name or that I could assign anything, any collective to her. But she really, when I looked at her, she looked very Arcturian, but she was not, you know.
Was she kind of blue? Is that
No, she was more rainbow. She was
rainbow?
actually, she was crystalline, very iridescent crystalline, and there was this rainbowish, um, sparkling, moving energy, very beautiful. I have a picture actually. I'll share with you the picture because it looked quite similar to that.
I love that.
And she is inviting you to call upon her, to really connect with her as much as possible, because she wants to work with you, through you, and also, just be with you.
I love that you just said that, because the very first thought I had was like, oh, I want to connect with her to actually
Yeah.
see about really bringing through her wisdom.
Exactly. This was exactly her words. She said, "Connect with me so that you could channel the wisdom that is available to you in this other galaxy to help this galaxy to move into the desired direction back to source." Right. So it was just it's so good. Yeah, she was again related to the same energy of upholding divine law, integrity, and sovereignty. And it was really interesting because when she appeared, there was a whole bunch of other beings around her, a really whole bunch, and they just wanted to say hi. So there was the Christus lineage, Mary Magdalene lineage. Then there were many ascended masters. I could mainly feel feminine ascended masters. Then there were ancestral star beings from Vega, Mintaka, Hyadum. Also Arcturus was very present. There were other star beings more in a physical level, which were the Tau Cetan, the Aramani, and Alpha Centauri, the Hadarian, more physically, like they were more in the capacity of helping you with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. The other ones were more in different capacities, in the sense of the well, I have it, but I don't know. It slipped now out of my mind. I'll come to it. I'll come to it definitely. So, and on Earth you have help as well with Merlin and the Ruby Dragon and the White Melchizedek Dragon. And there was also Archangels Metatron and Michael. So you really work with many, many, many beings. You work on different levels and in very many capacities, really, really multidimensional, all at once, with a very keen awareness of other parts, what is going on in other parts of your existence, right? It was really quantum, completely sphere-like. And they really love you and are very appreciative of your help and work.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I feel such a resonance when you said the divine feminine, because when I tap in, it feels like these different lineages will come in more so, not so much that I'm them in any way, but it's more like we work together. This
Yes.
very beautiful feeling. And it's just even super fun. I actually was so resonant with it that years ago I got Kuan Yin placed on my body, so she's always with me.
Oh, really? Oh, beautiful.
It was just always,
Yes.
yeah, and I always of course, with the dragon with her. So
Yeah. It was a strong energy. It is. I mean, it is a strong energy. So yeah, what I wanted to say before is that you are also part of the Council of Nine, because this is one of your prism through which you are working in this galaxy, right? And you are part of the violet ray. Really about transformation, integration, alchemy, really this part of creation, consciousness, higher consciousness, integrating lower consciousness back into higher consciousness, all of that.
love that.
Yeah. And also your rainbow aspect is part of the intergalactic super federation. That's why you decided to come to this galaxy in the first place, right? So as I already said, you came here before the infusion of Lyra. You were about 40% before infusion of Lyra here. So really a long time. And about, no, sorry, no, 20% before infusion of Lyra. But you started to incarnate into bodies at about 40% after you came into this galaxy. So you were really preparing the field for the consciousness to express itself here. So we come again back to Lyra system. You had about 20 lifetimes in Lyra. So you weren't just on Vega, but on different planets. But you were a very important part of the Lyran societal structure. You were really a counselor, a teacher, an educator, and specifically concerned with the morals, you know, not the physical, as much physical as more of the spiritual morals, you know, upholding this beautiful co-creation, harmony, living with each other in this divine, beautiful, harmonious way. And I also saw you in one lifetime where you were one of these blue Vega beings, and you were moving from one to the other planet and spreading the vegan spiritual teachings and how to uphold divine order inside of societies. In this sense, yeah, it was beautiful to watch.
I kind of feel it might even be one of my Lyran lifetimes, because I almost feel as even one of those lifetimes I even took on more of a reptilian even form. It wasn't like Draco reptilian, but it was one of the other forms in Drake or sorry, in Lyra.
Okay.
But I just had this distinct memory that I was getting in trouble because I was taking ships and going down into planets and teaching on the planets, and all the memory was I was getting called in to like a huge chamber to the family, to like my family, and I was being reprimanded, but because I was part of the family, I didn't get, I got in trouble, but I didn't. It was just the whole idea of like, you're not supposed to be going down there. And I was like, but they have the right to know too.
Exactly.
It's just one of those where I kind of feel as though I also tried to take on that body to feel with that body.
How it feels like, right? To actually have much more contact with, because the resonance inside of the genetics can be touched or connected to the draconians, right? So because I know that especially if you're taking on reptilian bodies, you can work directly with the DNA, and through working with the DNA, you're sending codes, like enlightenment codes, to the other beings that have the same DNA code. So this is a really powerful way of influencing, the way back to divinity.
Yes.
Wow. So I also felt that you were part of that you were actually living through the exodus of the Lyra system, right? That you were actually there when the massive explosions happened, that you were helping to escort people to motherships, that you were being on the motherships quite for a long time, that you felt a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a deep, deep sadness, and that you felt responsible, right? And that you were just with this huge sense of responsibility, you were so much helping others to uphold their morality, to go through trauma. So you really helped others not to break on a soul level, and you were also helping to find places to visit planets where others could, where your people could go and live afterwards, right? There was a long time that you were doing that, and you had a lot of time to think about it. And here came about this, questioning. How could they deceive me? How could they deceive me? Why this needed to happen? Uh, they were lying to me, in the sense, how could they even dare to lie to me, in the sense, how is this even possible in our world where God is everything, right?
Yeah.
So, and this left quite a bit of a imprint on your base chakra. So I'm not safe anywhere. And on your heart chakra, a broken heart, your third eye, how I couldn't see their intention. How could they, deceive me? And then throat chakra as well. Like they were lying to me, and I don't understand. I don't know how truth feels like. So this was all related to this lifetime.
It almost brings tears to my eyes. Like it's just like that deep cellular memory of it is so
Yeah.
intense. Yeah.
And when we go, I mean, I was then also asking about how is this still impacting you right now in this lifetime? And they said that there's still about a 20% block on the sacral chakra, about 30% on the solar plexus, in the sense of claiming your power, claiming your sovereignty and integrity. And I was a little bit surprised about this one, but about 50% of the block on the heart chakra. And then I was asking, how is that? Because I feel like a really expanded heart. And then they said, you know, her 10% is equal to others, let's say 70, 80%. So if she, yes, if she opens up more, then she's going to be, massive, massive heart energy. So just a reminder, maybe it's, you always know, take as much as you want. You're not obliged to work through all of this. You have plenty of lifetimes to work on it. It's just an information that wanted to come through.
Yeah, my heart and so with the heart chakra, did they kind of give a little bit on how to open it more, or it was just that's just an area that's still like 50% block? Because that
Yeah,
is a huge thing for me. It's actually
yeah,
one of my biggest things that I work on. It's like I can really hold a lot of compassion, but at the same time I feel it
mm,
almost to where it's physically like it's almost like hard to
mm,
breathe even deeply
yeah,
sometimes because it's holding these. It's so deep, it's hard for me to catch it sometimes, but I think it's still just the guilt of
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
has happened.
What they told me is actually to remember what this previous guide was telling, in the sense, not higher aspect of yourself was telling, in the sense that you feel your way through it fully. This is the first thing. And then by doing that, tap through the great attractor to the, hologram of the truth. And through this you will be shifted to the higher question, which is, what is the truth behind all of this? Why did that happen? I want to understand on the level of divine will. I want to transcend this whole story so that I see the whole picture. And it is also about holding this enormous gap of polarity in the neutral point.
That
Yeah,
makes, yeah, perfect.
yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Whew, yeah, I know. It's sometimes I feel like, we've done so much and we feel so deeply, but then there's still another layer.
Right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay. So on these motherships, you were actually developing a keen sensitivity towards deception. So we really became the expert in how you recognize who is deceiving you, to the point of hypervigilance, and also this, massive energy of warrior, in the sense, I'm going to make this end. I don't want to see this suffering any longer, in this sense, right? And here again, the Council of Nine was just telling you, go to the great attractor. But the beautiful thing is that I heard from two aspects of yourself how this lifetime is so much related to this galactic history, because I feel like I'm repeating myself.
And no, it's so perfect because it's so amazing how it's all interwoven. It all kind of keeps coming back. And it's so spot on too, because even when I look at things that happen on Earth, my heart and all of me always just goes to, well, this is the galactic pattern of how it's been happening. So
Yes,
I don't
yes.
resonate. It actually takes me effort to try to learn Earth history because I don't feel that connected to a lot of Earth timelines,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so I try to like remember it and learn it so I can see how it interweaves, but everything
uh,
always takes me back.
yeah,
Go.
to the galactic. Yeah, yeah, because you have much more galactic connections than Earth connections, yes, or even Earth incarnations. So then we go now to the Draco and Sirius B lifetimes. You actually, after observing the Draco game, let's say, from above, you decided to incarnate 4 times into Sirius B. So in these lifetimes, you were having male and female bodies, and you were able somehow to shift from 3D, 4D to up to 5D. And you were having almost like a double life here. On one hand, you were observing in the bodies, right? Observing the diversity of intentions, levels of integrity and sovereignty, and how it does resonate in the body. So what it does to the body, how it feels to lose integrity, how it feels to be deceived, how it feels in the body, right? Not just observing it. And then also, probably this is this lifetime that you were talking about in Vega, because you were like having this secret life where you were teaching other beings. Probably this is it. On Sirius B, you were teaching, collectives on Sirius B who wanted to learn about this, divine law. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And I hear that you came across the Anunnaki here as well, so that you had contact with them. I didn't get anything about it more than that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. And then in this Lyra system, you learned about, not just learned, but you were part also, as I said, this part of history for you is really quantum. It's not linear. So it seems like you were moving back and forth and back and forth in timelines, because you, for example, you came to Orion after the start of the Orion verse, but you came there also before it started. You came at the beginning of the Orion verse to escort the people who were threatened again to other places, but then you came in later to see how it's everything affecting the whole system and how the collective is digressing and what you can do about this. So it is really completely, and how actually you can shift also people out of the, how to shift people out of the, let's say, enslavement on Procyon, for example, with this ascension process, right? So this part was really a very, very busy period of your incarnations in this galaxy, and it was really back and forth. There's no linearity to this to this part of your history, your soul history.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely, this is where I think I feel a lot of the entanglement of like going in and experiencing it and also, guiding through it, trying to figure out how to help people unplug. Don't let it get to you. Don't let them control you kind of energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say also that you helped a lot of souls come out of this as well, not just the physical, trying to help the physical beings to get their memories of divinity back, but also helping souls to come out of the entrapments here.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, here was the first contact that you had with these forced hybridization programs, right? Where they were actually hybridizing Lyra and humans with the Zeta Reticuli grays, and how this was changing them so much that they became enslaved. And here I think you formed this very strong sense that hybridization is not the the solution, that the solution is actually in the sacred geometry technology of Sirius A. Yes, so I think all the other things we covered. What was very, very interesting to me and very, very powerful was also that I realized that, I mean, when I looked at your chart, that you have many connections to very powerful celestial bodies. One is the great attractor is conjunct to Neptune. Then Ring Nebula is in Vertex, Midheaven and in Moon. Then Antares in Pluto. Then Arcturus in Chiron and Mercury. And Galactic Center in Chiron. And then Vega in South Node, North Node axis. So really amazing, powerful, incredible energies that you can tap into, right? And channel wisdom and energy through. Let me see. Okay, and then, yeah, somehow on the way you heard about Earth and why was Earth being created, let's say, and used for. So that is this melting pot of all the races and having a new model of ascension towards the new Earth, the fifth dimensional consciousness. And you decided that you want to be part of this mainly because of two intentions. One was to help to untangle the digressive races and the energies of the digressive races from the energies of this, let's say, paradisic world to be. And the other one was to heal your own wound related to Lyra, right? And you came to Earth altogether. I have this information, that you have 19 lives. But just before coming to Earth, you were on Sirius A, B. It was kind of moving between the two, right? First, you came here in the pre-Lemurian time, like part of the seeders, because you wanted to see if Earth is already ready to be seeded with the new races. Then the second lifetime was in Atlantis, and you had altogether 5 lifetimes here in Atlantis. You were very closely working with the Syrians, and you were also a Syrian in Atlantis. First, you came actually at the formative phase of Atlantis. I feel strongly that you were coming in as a Syrian at this lifetime, and you were helping to shape morally, spiritually, and consciously the society of Atlantis, you know, and also to upholding these energies and to prevent corruption, deception. This was later on, you know, after other lifetimes in Atlantis, but you stayed altogether 5 lifetimes in Atlantis. You were again teacher, counselor in the temples of the Syrian beings, either as Syrian or as a human. And again, you were part of the fall of Atlantis, and you were helping people to, you know, escort people on motherships again, the ones that could be, let's say, reconnected to divinity and that had future, let's say, you know. You were somehow, there were others deciding on who is going to go to the motherships. And you were also helping them to, let's say, teaching them and helping them to survive their traumas again on these motherships. And all of this expertise that you gained through Lyra helped you enormously here. But
we
then
probably hung out together.
Excuse me?
I said you and I probably knew each other there in the temples.
I'm quite sure we knew each other from somewhere, you know, because you resonate so much with me. I don't know where we know each other from, but yes, it's incredible. What was interesting to me here was that once Earth was settling back into a normality, you were actually helping to resettle these people back to Earth. But you really preferred to give them, like, you settled them into small little communities, like small little tribal communities. I see here connection to the Aboriginal people, to some African tribes, to American tribes, also to some Polynesia tribes. And you really wanted to keep them isolated because you wanted to have the possibility to visit them and actually continue teaching them to stay connected to divinity. But then again, they were coming in other races, like the Anunnaki and the Nakals, and they were messing up some of the races, let's say some of the tribes. And it was not so, how to say, you weren't very keen about that. Then there was another lifetime in ancient Egypt. It was related to upholding the Syrian teachings in the temples. And then this was also very interesting to me. You had a lifetime in ancient Rome, and it was in the Essene group. Essene, I don't know how to pronounce it. Essene group. I don't know. I was so curious. Do you remember to be in contact with Joshua Ben Joseph? Because it feels like you were part of the feminine teachers. You were actually one of the Essenes, and you were feminine, and you were teaching. So if you
maybe I just did a whole thing on the Essenes because I've been so drawn to just sharing that message again and how it's those teachings are coming back. And just to even tie in, like today, for the group that I'm doing, the whole thing I'm just inspired to do is going to be on Akhenaten.
really? Oh my God. It's really incredible. And I also see, or maybe if you try to feel if you're connected to one of the ascendant feminine masters from this life, from this part of the history, because I feel you have a strong connection directly to these people while they were incarnated.
Yeah, and I feel like there's some connection that I have from when the Essenes disbanded, or from when basically the Essene massacres, and going to France. Like France has always had this huge resonance, to the point where at one point in my life it was like I learned how to speak. I learned, like, French people were just coming into my life so that I could have the opportunity to speak. I haven't had the opportunity to go there physically, but it helped me embed all of those genetics again. I feel memories of caves, of like I don't know
Oh,
all of
wow.
the in there,
It
but
could be actually, yes.
wow, that is an absolute, yeah, I definitely, so yes, I definitely feel that resonance.
Okay, cool. And then there was another lifetime in early modern era, and showed me that you were upholding the teachings of Taoism in small indigenous groups of people. It could be East Pacific, something like that. And there are other lifetimes, but they weren't so important. And now we are to this lifetime. Oh,
Here we
Becca.
are.
So, in this lifetime, you are just working with such incredible beings. I think I mentioned all of them already, the Elohim, but I mentioned all of the others.
Oh, the spirit. Incredible. Oh my gosh. Like so much resonance. And it's
Wow.
such an honor because I just love just your gift for really tapping in to the records and how you bring that through. So I've been really looking forward to this.
You are really someone who is such an inspiration for me, because you really are a complete embodiment of the gifts of divinity. So it was really incredibly powerful for me also to be able to do it, actually.
Honey, you are so incredible. I'm so, so grateful that we get to share this lifetime again, because I feel exactly the same way. I'm like, I definitely know you.
Yeah, I have the same feeling, really.
I feel like, Assyrian is a huge connection point for us potentially, with the work that we've been doing. And that, you know, it's like we're continuing it on, you know. So by us connecting, even by my ability to connect, even by looking at some of your starseed information, just we get all of our memories back, and I feel like we gift that to each other.
Yes, 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 yes.
You're amazing.
Wow.
Oh, I love you so much.
Oh, I love you so much, really.